Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And Coach, a great day for you last Saturday as the Naval Academy came in. A team that was lighting it up the first two ball games, averaging over 17 goals a game. And you guys came right out of the gate, goal, goal, goal. And the next thing you know, Navy's behind the eight ball, and you guys just cruised to a 17-5 victory. I know you had to be very pleased with the way things went on the offensive end and the defensive end.
Yeah, I mentioned after the game it was probably one of our more complete games that I've seen, our program play in quite a few years. And coming out the way we did and really attacking their defensive personnel. I think when Mikey scored against Bonnets, who's their best defenseman, I think it really kind of set the tone for our team and kind of showed them that, maybe they might be in for a long day. And then we were able to, like you said, just kind of roll from there. So I was excited for the guys, and, I think we caught them on definitely not their best day. And, but again, our guys played strong.
So strong that Nick DeMeo was named the U.S. Lacrosse Player of the Week, National Player of the Week, won the CAA Player of the Week on the offensive end, and Luke Downs wins CAA Defensive Player for the Week. So a great day for awards. And how about Luke? Great ball game, only giving up 5 goals. Yeah,
he played strong. It was good to see him. He just kind of had that confidence in the way he was seeing the ball and stepping to the ball. Sometimes, when goalies get that way, sometimes they just make it look, easy, like they're playing catch in a way. And he kind of had a little bit of that. There was one of their man-up goals where he got himself off-centered, and you could just see his body language. Went in, and he knew he should have had it. So I think, maybe that kind of got him back on track for the rest of the game and was able to stay focused in.
You talked before the season started that, when you have a new goalie and you have some new guys playing on close defense, the communication is important. Obviously, the communication was probably pretty good against Navy.
It was back end of the first quarter, and going from there. I was concerned, honestly. Within the early stages of that game, they were offensively, Navy's offense was really dictating to us, on our defensive end, kind of what was happening. And we weren't taking away what we wanted to. We weren't driving them where we wanted to. And it looked like, they got some good size midfielders. And, if our D-middies were having to play the way that we were, at that time, the entire game, I think we would have worn down. But our defense, after, communicating with those guys after the timeout, wanting to kind of get back to what we expect to do game plan wise, they stepped up and did a good job dialing back into, our game plan and playing pretty well.
Then on the offensive end, Nick DeMeo, 4 goals, 5 assists. Game 1 against Hopkins, and no one's ever going to call Nick bashful when it comes to shooting the lacrosse ball. He was kind of a non-factor in the Hopkins game, but over the last 2 ball games, it's back to even better than what we've seen in years past.
Yeah, it's been fun to see Nick progress. He's not, kind of like I said, he's never been bashful, and that's what you want out of a shooter, an offensive guy to have that confidence. But Nick has definitely matured in his process and his play. He's allowing the game to come to him a little bit more. He's taking advantage of the opportunities instead of trying to really push, and try to create more so than maybe we need him to. I think he's understanding his role a little bit better in our offense, and our offense is, again, getting more mature as well. We're a little bit, more experienced, with our top 6 guys out there. The second midfield unit has got 3 games under their belt now. So I think Nick is starting to understand that he doesn't maybe need to shoulder as much of the load and try to do as much as he had to do or thought he had to do in the past, and things will still work out well for him.
All right, this week, St. Joe's up in Philadelphia, and the first thing you see when you look at St. Joe's is that Zach Cole's not there anymore, and I'm sure you're deeply upset about that, one of the great face-off men in the country. And they've had some problems with face-offs through the first 2 ball games, but a lot of guys back from last year that helped them have a great season.
Yeah, they return a ton of talent, especially on their offensive end. They're extremely, dynamic as far as their offensive abilities, and not having Zach back, but they still got, a guy that's been a part of 2 national championship teams, so he knows how to compete and how to play, and then, has done it against some pretty tough ones in his journey. So it's going to be a big challenge being on the road for the kind of traveling overnight on the road. Hopkins was on the road, but a St. Joe's team that hasn't won yet this season is used to winning. They're a very successful program recently, a very tough program. We haven't played our best the past couple times against them, so it's going to be a fun game.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. For the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Glenn Smith and I will have the action for you against St. Joe's Friday, 4 o'clock on TowsonTigers.com. And as always, go Tigers.